Have you ever skipped a doctor's appointment because you felt fine and thought I don't really need that test? If you're over 60, I want you to pause and listen carefully, because the truth is, some of the most dangerous health problems give you no warning signs at all. And by the time symptoms appear, it can already be too late. I'm Dr. Perriera, a gynecologist with over 30 years of experience caring for women through every stage of life. And today, I want to walk you through the 5 medical tests every woman over 60 should get. These aren't just routine checkups, they're life-saving tools that can catch problems early when they're easiest to treat and give you peace of mind that your body is truly protected. Let me share a story. One of my patients, Margaret, 68, came to me for what she thought was just a bone check. She had never considered her heart health because she felt fine. But during her screening, we discovered early signs of heart disease. She was shocked. "Doctor, I walk every day, I don't feel sick." But that's the point. Heart disease often whispers before it shouts. Because Margaret's test caught the issue early, she was able to start treatment and is now thriving, playing with her grandkids and enjoying her walks with confidence. Without that screening, her story could have ended very differently. According to the Cleveland Clinic, women over 60 face increased risks of heart disease, osteoporosis, cancers, and diabetes. Yet many women never receive the tests that could save their lives. Why? Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's lack of awareness. And often it's because we put everyone else's needs before our own. But your health deserves priority. You can't care for your family, your partner, or your friends if you're not taking care of yourself first. Think of these tests like the smoke detectors in your home. You don't install them because you expect a fire. You install them so that if something does go wrong, you'll know in time to act. These medical tests are your body's smoke detectors alerting you to hidden risks before they turn into emergencies. In this episode, we'll cover the 5 tests I consider essential for every woman after 60. We'll talk about heart health screenings, bone density tests, cancer screenings, blood work for diabetes and cholesterol, and the often overlooked pelvic exam and PEP, HPV testing. I'll explain why each test matters, what it can reveal, and how often you should get it. And I'll share real patient stories that show the difference between catching something early and missing it until it's too late. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap for the screenings that protect not just your health, but your independence, your energy, and your time with the people you love. So let me ask you, when was the last time you had a full checkup? Have you ever delayed a test because you felt fine? Share your experiences in the comments, because chances are another woman is doing the same right now, and your story could remind her to make that appointment. Stay with me, because the tests we're about to discuss could be the difference between years of health and a preventable crisis. The first test every woman over 60 must prioritize is a heart health screening. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women in the United States, yet many still think of it as a man's problem. After menopause, the protective effect of estrogen decreases and risks such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and narrowing arteries increase dramatically. What makes it dangerous is that many women don't feel obvious symptoms until the disease is advanced. A heart health screening typically includes blood pressure measurement, cholesterol, and triglyceride levels, and sometimes an electrocardiogram, ECG, or stress test, depending on your risk factors. According to the Mayo Clinic, women over 60 should have their blood pressure checked at least once a year and cholesterol every 4 to 6 years, or more often if abnormal. I had a patient named Eleanor, 70, who told me proudly, "Doctor, I've never felt chest pain, so my heart must be fine." But her screening showed dangerously high cholesterol and early arterial plaque. By catching it in time, she was able to make dietary changes, start medication, and avoid what could have been a devastating heart attack. Her story reminds us that feeling fine is not the same as being fine. These tests are your early warning system. The second test is a bone density scan, also called a DEXA scan. After 60 women face a much higher risk of osteoporosis, a condition where bones become weak and brittle. In fact, the NIH reports that 1 in 2 women over 50 will break a bone due to osteoporosis in their lifetime. Fractures can be life-changing, sometimes even life-threatening, because they affect independence, mobility, and overall health. A bone density scan is painless and quick. You simply lie on a table while a machine measures how strong your bones are, especially in the spine and hips. The results help doctors determine your risk of fractures and guide prevention strategies like calcium and vitamin D, supplementation, weight-bearing exercise, and in some cases, medication. Let me tell you about Martha, 66, who came to me after fracturing her wrist from a simple fall in her garden. She told me I thought it was just clumsiness, but I never imagined my bones were so weak. A DEXA scan revealed advanced osteoporosis. With treatment, she was able to strengthen her bones and reduce her risk of future fractures, but she told me she wished she had been tested sooner. Her story highlights a truth I want every woman to hear: you can't feel osteoporosis developing. The only way to know is to test. I often compare these two tests to maintaining your car. Checking your heart is like testing the engine. It's what keeps everything running. Checking your bones is like inspecting the frame. Without strength and support, the entire vehicle is at risk. Both are essential if you want to keep moving safely down life's road. So let me ask you, when was the last time you had your heart and bones checked? If it's been years, or if you've never had these screenings, consider this your gentle nudge to make the appointment. Stay with me, because in the next section, we'll talk about 2 other screenings that women often ignore, but which can literally save lives: cancer screenings and blood tests for diabetes and cholesterol. The third essential test is cancer screening. After menopause, the risks of several cancers increase, breast, colon, and gynecologic cancers among them. Many women believe that if they feel fine, they don't need to be checked. But cancer often grows silently in the body, showing no symptoms until it's advanced. Screenings are what allow us to detect it early when treatment is most effective. For breast cancer, the Mayo Clinic recommends mammograms every 1 to 2 years for women over 60, depending on risk factors and personal history. For colorectal cancer, colonoscopies are the gold standard and should be done every 10 years, though there are other stool-based tests that can be done more frequently. And for gynecologic cancers, pelvic exams remain vital. While pap smears may no longer be needed as often after 65, depending on prior history, a pelvic exam can still detect early signs of ovarian, uterine, or vaginal cancers. I'll never forget my patient Claire, 72, who almost skipped her mammogram because she felt fine and had no family history. That test revealed an early-stage tumor, one so small it would have gone unnoticed until much later. Claire had successful treatment and is now cancer-free. She told me that one appointment saved my life. That's what cancer screening is: a safety net that catches problems before they catch you. The fourth test is blood work for diabetes and cholesterol. Diabetes and high cholesterol are sometimes called silent diseases because they quietly damage the body for years before symptoms appear. By the time you feel fatigue, vision changes, or numbness in your feet, the damage may already be advanced. That's why regular blood tests are essential. The NIH recommends screening for type 2 diabetes every 3 years after age 45, and more often if you have risk factors such as family history, obesity, or high blood pressure. A simple fasting blood sugar test or an A1C test can reveal whether your blood sugar is creeping into dangerous territory. For cholesterol, regular blood tests help track LDL bad cholesterol and HDL good cholesterol, as well as triglycerides. Together, these numbers provide a picture of your heart and metabolic health. One of my patients, Susan, 67, came in, complaining only of being tired all the time. She assumed it was aging, but her blood work revealed uncontrolled diabetes and dangerously high cholesterol. She was shocked. "Doctor, I thought I was just slowing down." With treatment and lifestyle changes, she regained her energy and dramatically lowered her risks. Susan's story is a powerful reminder. Sometimes the body whispers before it screams, and blood work helps us hear those whispers. I often compare cancer screenings and blood work to checking the hidden corners of your home. You may not see termites in the walls or mold in the basement, but that doesn't mean they aren't there. A professional inspection finds what your eyes can't. In the same way, these medical tests reveal what's happening inside your body before problems become visible. So let me ask you, when was the last time you scheduled your mammogram colonoscopy or routine blood work? If your answer makes you pause, you're not alone. Many women put these off. But your health is too precious to gamble with. And stay with me, because in the next section, we'll discuss the fifth and final test, one that's often overlooked after menopause, but still critical: the pelvic exam. The fifth test, and one that is often overlooked after menopause, is the pelvic exam. Many women believe that once they've passed menopause, and especially if they're no longer sexually active, pelvic exams are unnecessary. Some even think I had a normal pap test years ago, so I'm fine. But that's a dangerous misconception. Even after menopause, women remain at risk for cancers of the uterus, ovaries, and vagina, as well as conditions like prolapse or persistent infections. While pap smears and HPV testing may no longer be required regularly after 65, depending on your history, a pelvic exam is still a critical tool. It allows your doctor to check for growth changes in tissue and signs of disease that you might not notice on your own. According to the Cleveland Clinic, women should continue pelvic exams every 1 to 3 years after menopause, unless advised otherwise by their healthcare provider. Let me share the story of Judith, age 74. She told me she had avoided pelvic exams for almost a decade because she thought they were no longer relevant. By the time she returned for a routine check, she was shocked to learn she had early-stage endometrial cancer. Thankfully, because we caught it when we did her treatment, was successful. But Judith admitted, "Doctor, I almost didn't come. I thought I was too old for this to matter." Her story is a powerful reminder. These exams are not about age, they're about vigilance. Beyond cancer, pelvic exams can also detect prolapse, where weakened pelvic muscles allow organs to shift downward, causing discomfort and urinary issues. Many women quietly suffer from these changes, thinking they are just part of getting older. But early detection opens the door to treatments from physical therapy to surgery that can restore quality of life. I often use this analogy with my patients. Think of a pelvic exam like checking the foundation of your house. You may not look at the foundation every day, but if cracks form and go unnoticed, the entire structure is at risk. A pelvic exam is how we check your body's foundation, quiet, hidden issues that could compromise your health and independence if ignored. And here's something I want to emphasize: a pelvic exam is not just about disease detection. It's also a chance for you to ask questions you might be too embarrassed to bring up otherwise about dryness, pain, intimacy, or leakage. I've had countless women whisper questions during these exams, grateful for a safe space to finally voice concerns. That conversation alone can be life-changing. Think about it this way: your body has carried you through decades of life, childbirth, careers, family joys and losses. Don't it deserve the same level of care and attention? now in this new stage of life. A pelvic exam is one of the simplest ways to honor that. So let me ask you, when was the last time you scheduled a pelvic exam? Has it been years, maybe even a decade? If so, I encourage you to see this not as a chore, but as a gift to yourself, a chance to ensure your foundation is strong, your health is secure, and your future is bright. Stay with me, because in the final part of this episode, we'll recap all 5 essential tests and talk about how they fit together into one powerful plan for protecting your health, your independence, and your confidence after 60. We've covered a lot today, so let's bring everything together. There are 5 essential medical tests that every woman over 60 should make part of her health routine. First, a heart health screening, because heart disease is the #1 killer of women, and it often gives no warning signs. Blood pressure checks, cholesterol tests, and sometimes ECGs are your early alarm system protecting you before a crisis. Second, a bone density scan, because 1 in 2 women over 50 will suffer an osteoporosis-related fracture in her lifetime. A quick, painless DEXA scan tells you if your bones are strong or if they need support so you can stay independent and active. Third, cancer screenings, mammograms for breast cancer, colonoscopies, or stool tests for colon cancer, and pelvic exams for gynecologic cancers. These are life-saving nets that catch disease early, often before you even know it's there. Fourth, blood work for diabetes and cholesterol, because these silent conditions can quietly damage your body for years without obvious symptoms. A simple blood draw can reveal risks long before they show up in your daily life. And fifth, the often overlooked pelvic exam, which checks the very foundation of your health, detecting cancers, prolapse, or tissue changes that no amount of self-observation can uncover. Each test plays its role. Together, they form a shield, protecting not just your health, but your independence, your relationships, and your time with the people you love. I want you to think back to the stories we shared: Margaret, who caught heart disease early; Martha, whose bone density scan explained her fracture; Claire, who discovered breast cancer before it advanced; Susan, who learned her fatigue was actually diabetes; and Judith, who nearly skipped her pelvic exam but caught endometrial cancer just in time. Each of these women might have faced tragedy if they hadn't had these tests. Instead, because of vigilance, they found solutions, healing, and more years of life to enjoy. I often tell my patients this: these screenings are not about looking for problems. They're about securing your peace of mind. They're about making sure you can continue living life on your terms, traveling, laughing, dancing, and holding your loved ones close without fear of the unknown. Think of it like regular maintenance for your car. You don't wait for the engine to fail before you change the oil. You do it to keep the car running smoothly for years. Your body deserves the same respect. Preventive care is maintenance for the most important vehicle you'll ever own yourself. So here's my call to action. If it's been more than a year since your last checkup, make an appointment this week. If you've been putting off your mammogram, bone scan, or blood work, don't wait another month. Your health is too precious, and the gift of time is something no one can buy back once it's lost. And I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 tests have you had recently, and which ones do you still need to schedule? Share your answer in the comments, because your words may remind another woman to take that life-saving step. If this video has given you clarity and courage, I invite you to subscribe so you don't miss the rest of our series. In future episodes, we'll talk about natural ways to boost longevity, protect your circulation, and live with joy well beyond menopause. And before we close, let me remind you, this video is for educational purposes only. It does not replace medical advice. Every woman's body is unique. If you are experiencing pain, significant changes, or have personal concerns, please consult with your healthcare provider. Your well-being deserves personalized care.